Hey Ratbags, it's Jay. Today on the Survival Show, taking a look at witches, island survival, cozy farming, automation, and what's the latest on a big new open world zombie survival game. As always, here with the survival news you need to know, let's go. It's the Survival Show. Alright, so technically not a survival game, but I did cover this when it released on the Epic Games Store, and it's something I kept my eyes on for years. It's now labelling itself as a RPG shooter instead of a roguelike Souls-like game. This is Witchfire. Actually really cool concept, a first person shooter but with magic, basically going onto different mini maps and trying to clear out and extract high valuable resources, changing up your classes, mixing up your powers, all the while taking on merciless creatures and trying to find the mysteries and eventually stop the witch. It's been in early access less than a year and it's just announced its Steam release date, which is going to be really soon, 23rd of September. It really does mix that kind of boomer shooter atmosphere with Dark Souls aesthetics, and yet absolutely that replayability of going into areas, finding the perfect build and trying new things. The devs however are keen to now stress that it isn't as focused or maybe pigeonholed as it's been labelled before as simply a Souls-like or maybe a extraction shooter. Instead a mixture and inspiration from lots of different genres and simply just calling it a shooter RPG now. The game is absolutely stunning to look at, and when I played it when it's released I really did enjoy it, but I was really busy with other games so couldn't do as much and more than just the starter guide and a first look. It's had 2 chunky updates since then and I'm intrigued to see the changes they've made. By no means does this mean the game is going to be ready to launch as a fully fleshed game. It's still going to be in early access, just the exclusivity with Epic has obviously finished and they begin early access on Steam. So if you're looking to master a shooter and have a bit more skill with your game rather than just base building and scouring for resources, then Witchfire might be something you want to take a look at. And like I said, I will probably take a good showcase of this when it releases on Steam in 2 weeks. Let me know what you think about Witchfire and go and check out the previous videos I've done on the game. Project Castaway is another island survival game, very much in the same vein as Stranded Deep, but marrying a bit more of the mechanics of Green Hell. So it's going to be janky and hard to actually play. Yeah, maybe if he was pessimistic. I actually gave this a shot. It's had a free playtest that you could take part in for a good while, and pretty much every survival tuber under the sun seems to give it a shot in the last year. But it does show promise. It's a procedurally generated island survival game where you'll be obviously hunting creatures, trying to build up a base and explore different islands. Went under my radar with the announcement that it is actually going to be releasing very soon. And indeed it is releasing exactly the same day as Witchfire, 23rd of September. It's kind of got a good vibe, I would say. It definitely does feel like Stranded Deep, but not as maybe janky, and certainly has got similar mechanics to Green Hell where you've got to build up certain pieces with inventory management being important. It's got a quite dark atmosphere that sometimes lends itself to the forest as well, although it's not maybe filled with horror. As said, they've had a playtest up and running. They've got a series of updates they're launching before the 23rd, adding more features like fishing, farming and others. But what really drew my attention was the fact they're going to be announcing it as coming to console at some point very soon after its early access launch. That's on their roadmap plans at least, and not much else. Like most games, you get told you're going to have this, that and everything, but it was very quiet, just keeping it down to 3 little elements they're going to be adding. Obviously co-op, that is one of the big ones, and I'm sure it's going to take a while to add, but also holiday content. Most game devs don't want you ever thinking they're not putting their all into the initial release on Steam, and console plans, while can be announced, will be some time away. So yeah, I'm curious about exactly how they're going to proceed with playtests for console while still developing early access for Steam. It does happen. Grounded launched on Xbox and Steam. Other games have managed to do it as well. But with its actual post-launch plans looking so light, I don't know if that was the right move. I'm always happy for more console games, but yeah, it's an interesting way to go about things announcing it like this. Are you down for more island survival? Let me know in the comments down below. And speaking of survival games that are on PC and Xbox, this is Lightyear Frontier, and it's got its new Neighbours and Animals update coming as well towards the end of this month. It's more of a cozy farming simulation game than a full-on survival, of course. I did give it a shot, I just ran out of time really to give it a good covering and showcasing, as it had the mech idea of running around a colourful, vibrant alien planet, gathering resources and utilising your mech's tools to basically get ahead. The new update is promising gene splicing with crops and being able to now have animal husbandry, as you now gain access to eggs that you can raise and then hopefully get resource drops from the creatures that you keep, alongside new NPCs that you'll have to build little homes for or maybe decorate alongside, a bit like Terraria, and keeping them happy and hopefully getting new unlocks. So it looks cool, adds a bit more depth. I think this is definitely a time to check it out for sure. Maybe a bit too cozy for some, but certainly colourful and definitely fitting on my JCraft channel, so that's where you'll probably see me play it. No actual full release date other than just listed as at the end of the month, and it is an early access title, so it won't be announced for PlayStation or any other platforms for a good while yet. Are you excited about dressing up your peacock aliens or meeting new NPCs if you played the game already? Let me know in the comment section, and yeah, I'll definitely be checking this out at the end of the month. I'm pretty pessimistic when I hear the words open world zombie survival game, as let's face it, so many have been huge letdowns like Dead Matter and of course The Day Before. I do think these games really have to impress me with something new to really detract from what's already out there, like games like DayZ and Scum. Rooted, when it first got announced, was drawing big comparisons to The Last of Us, showcasing a city landscape overgrown with shrubbery and just great looking characters in Unreal Engine 5. Since then, they've announced a bunch of stuff, including their Kickstarter campaign and their alphas that backers are now able to play. Their latest offering is a drone showcase, the powers and abilities you'll be able to use with this in pointing out features and maybe dangers in the future. All looks really snazzy, but is it enough? Well, the game's got a long way to go. I can't see this actually releasing into early access at least until 2026. And they did show off a 28-minute gameplay video in the summer, and it showed that indeed it is a walking simulator at the moment, with no combat or anything like that added, and things like gardening and crafting much more coming in the future. And this is why I get a bit dubious. Is this one of these games where it's just simply a map they've managed to cobble together using a lot of the Unreal Engine assets, overhyping and showcasing some gorgeous visuals, but nothing really going on under the tank? I'll let you guys be the judge of that. And absolutely, I'm not trying to be over harsh. I know games take a while to develop, especially small independent ones like these. They haven't got thousands of devs working on it like The Last of Us. But it's this overhype that we do for games like Dead Matter in the past that have led to huge just flubs by some of these things, overpromising stuff they just can't deliver. There were some cool features though in this open world showcase. The monastery looks interesting enough, some light puzzle elements where you have to find keys to gain access to the monastery, and the ability to actually move kind of items on wheels to get access to higher places. It is going to be an open world PvP co-op survival game, with seemingly a focus on exploring larger locations to get your loot and then maybe retire back to safe spaces. There is base building in it as well from what they've shown off as their plans. So yeah, I want games like this to be successful and to promise and deliver what they can, but I am just a bit more dubious. Like I said, it really does have to impress me nowadays when I see something like this. Why play this when you've got Scum or DayZ? As many problems as them games might have, they are pretty much the de facto open world survival games now if you want a bit of zombie or mutant flavour. So let me know, does this scratch your itch? Is this something you're looking forward to now you've seen a bit more of it? And a quick notification about Coffee Stain and Satisfactory. It's going out of early access as a fully fleshed game 1.0 today. Yes, I should have maybe labelled this survival show something a bit different as I'm showcasing different games. But you guys know I've got an interest in lots of different pies. I showed off Tectonica when that launched a little while ago, and that was really cool. And so many new survival games are adding automation to it. Satisfactory never really had the danger that I was looking for in a game like this. It was obviously focused on the actual factory building elements, but it does have dangers and a big open world to explore with some elements of story. The game's massively popular, it sold millions of copies, been in early access 5 years across Epic and Steam, and I am intrigued about how far it's come and what it can promise now. And yeah, it has been about 4 years since I last took a look at it properly. So do you want to see me live stream this as a one-off later today? Gauge some interest in it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And that's it for this survival show. Until next time, RATBAGGERS, make sure you got notification bell dinged, and I'll see you later.